Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett, and my hands is Are You Willing to Die for the Cause? Revolution in 1960s Quebec. This is by Chris Oliveros, and a really fascinating graphic novel. So I caught this on the shelf, and I actually think it might have been like previews that kind of showed it off, and it was something that was like really intrigued by it, and I wanted to check it out. So I grew up on the Canadian border in Buffalo, and that means I got a lot of CBC television. So, yeah, I'm going to call myself, honorary Canadian that way. But one of the things I always remember was, like, a lot of the elections and the news coverage, and every so often there was a election about this small little area in Quebec, called Quebec, that they would vote to attempt to create their own nation and separate from Canada. I mean, to me, this was a fascinating thing, and I haven't gone back and looked, but like my memories, I always remember being like fairly close, like 51-49 type of thing, and thought it was that the whole concept was really really interesting. And is going across the border, there's definitely an attitude when it comes to French Canadians. I'm gonna leave my own opinion out there, but we're not gonna go into that. So to me, this was a really, really fascinating graphic novel and something I really wanted to read because it is about that separatist movement in Quebec. So it focuses on the 1960s. What a shock with a title like that. And three iterations of what's known as the FLQ. There was basically three waves of this group, different leaders, different members, each claiming they were about liberation for Quebec and French Canadians. We can debate about all that, but it's a really interesting read discussing these various characters. The story's framed that it's picked up like a forgotten CBC documentary, CBC Canadian Broadcasting Channel, and this is like the tapes of that. In reality, no CBC documentary was like forgotten and hidden over the years, but it's interesting in the background there is a mention that there really was a CBC documentary. It aired once and then like never aired again, and everyone kind of forgot about it. So like weirdly, the graphic novel kind of like reflected history. But what is really done is Oliveros is done a lot of research, and while like the narrative is fictional, like the facts are true. He really dives into like the history of these groups, these characters, and their characters, and their attempts to liberate French Canadians in Quebec from the oppressive colonists of the English. It's a really fascinating read. I mean, especially with everything going on in the world right now. I think it is. It's interesting to go back and read. I think partially because much like now, it is filled with personalities, and personalities that you'll sit there and say, I'm not 100% sure this person is totally with it. So in that way, like, it feels very prescient of today, works for today. I don't know exactly how you want to describe it. But it's I think, a fascinating read. It's really educational, really interesting. And what's great is there is tons of back material going further into everything, like about the members of FLQ, some of the things that are referenced, the history. This is just a fantastic and well-researched graphic novel about a very interesting time that I would say a lot of Americans don't know about. I was going to say maybe Canadians don't know about it. I really don't know. Definitely Americans don't know about it. The little separatist movement that was kind of across the border. So it's really good. I mean, it's really, really good. And it seems like there might be another book coming, because it says at the end of something like, there's a reference to like a part 2 sort of thing. So I don't know what the plan is. It says next embark in book 2, October 1970. So I'm assuming there will be a book 2 at some point. And I'm really hoping, because this is a fascinating story. The art is solid. Very kind of like underground comic-ish. Characters are exaggerated. I have no idea how these people look, compared to real life. But it's got like a nice, cool, rough underground vibe about it. And I also think just reading it, it's fascinating to see these three different iterations of the FLQ and their one, their how they kind of came about, the characters behind it, but like how they evolved. Like the first two were by immigrant guys who saw. I think the first two was immigrant. The first one was definitely immigrant, and the third one I think was the immigrant, or maybe the second one, whatever. First two were much more similar of guys who saw like this oppression going on and decided to take action. The first one feels like things kind of just got out of hand, and the dude who really founded things was just not quite all there, if that makes sense. That he's that type of person that talks big and then like quickly crumbles, and might have been doing it just because I got the vibe that he was doing it partially just because it made him feel special. The second one was definitely kind of a more like grand, hey, we're gonna raise an army and do all these things, and just one of those like dreamers who wanted to be part of something. And then the third is kind of seems like it more spun out of union movement. So it doesn't quite have that same vibe as to like French Canadian liberation, though it really is focused on pay wages and pay for French Canadians. So it feels more like union related than as opposed to the previous two FLQs, but it's kind of lumped in there. It's awesome. It's really, really fascinating history. It's a beautiful book, like really, really well done. This has got like a nice raised feel to it. So is this. So yeah, like great packaging, fantastic story, tons of material in the back to teach you what's up. Highly recommend it. I'm excited to go read a book 2, which would seem to come out because I want to see where this all goes. So yeah, if you want to go learn about a little French Canadian Revolution, go check this out. I would say it's not just a great place to start, but like it is very educational as a whole. It does give you other stuff to check out, but there is a massive amount of material you can see yourself. Go get it. It's really cool piece of history. Out now in comic shops. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code or tell the comic shops near you. No shop, no problem. We do have some links where you can purchase your own. There'll be affiliate links, so we do get a small percentage, and by doing that, you'll support our site. So thank you. And just watching our videos support us, so thank you for that. If you're into comics, you can check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.